Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this video I guess is a quick, my initial thoughts on a fight that's been made. Going down in the UK on the 30th of November. Sonny Edwards versus Galal Yafai at flyweight. Really interesting fight. And the type of fight, in my opinion, that British boxing has been missing in the last year or so. What I mean by that is, obviously with Saudi Arabia's growing involvement in boxing, to fill those shows they have been using a lot of UK fighters, whether they be sort of well-known domestic level fighters or world level fighters. And as a result, I do think it's taken away from the regular UK shows, not like the big pay-per-view cards, but you know, like the regular Saturday night, fight night type of shows. And I feel the domestic scene has been lacking as Saudi Arabia have grown their involvement in boxing. But this is the sort of fight I've been waiting for. This is the sort of fight I can sink my teeth into. And it's a really interesting fight. Sonny Edwards, of course, former IBF flyweight world champion, tricky boxer, good mover, very experienced. You know, he's almost been there, seen it, done it at world level. He's not elite level, as we saw with Jesse Rodriguez, Bam Rodriguez. You know, Rodriguez is a level above. So it's not like Sonny Edwards is the best of the best, but he's certainly a world level fighter. Several title defenses, beat some pretty decent fighters like Mohamed Wazim, Maruti Mufalane, Felix Alvarado. He's beaten some pretty good names, whereas Galal Yafai is far less experienced. Though he is older, Sonny Edwards is still only, 27, 28 years old, whereas Galal Yafai is 31. Galal Yafai is 7-0, Olympic gold medalist. He won a gold medal in Tokyo 2021 at flyweight, and he spent several years in the amateurs, hence like the later start, especially for a flyweight. And he has been moved relatively quickly as a pro. It's not like he's fought a who's who, but, you know, his first fight, for example, was a 10-rounder. In fact, he's only fought 10-rounders in his 7 fights. But he's fought some tough sort of Mexican gatekeepers, guys with decent records, etc. Certain fights he's looked good. Certain fights he's looked a bit cumbersome. He's kind of been hit or miss for me so far in his pro career. But at 31 years old, as an Olympic gold medalist, this is the sort of fight he needed. No more of these kind of gatekeeper type fights against okay guys, but ultimately guys who are not world level. We need to see where Galal Yafai is at. And I think this fight in particular will show us where Galal Yafai is at. He is a southpaw, he is a pressure fighter, he likes to work the body, he's got okay power, decent work rate, pretty good strength. He is the bigger man in this fight. He is a bigger guy than Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards is listed as 5'3", whereas Galal Yafai is listed as 5'4". I know that's only an inch in difference in height, but Yafai is a much thicker flyweight. Plus, according to the tail of a tape at least, Sonny Edwards has a 60-inch reach, whereas Galal Yafai has a 68-inch reach. An 8-inch reach advantage for Galal Yafai, that is significant. Plus, all round, he's a heavier set guy, a bigger guy, a stronger guy, and he's going to have to try to make that count for him. You know, try to disrupt that boxing of Sonny Edwards and draw him into a fight almost. And that's one thing about Sonny Edwards. That's one of my criticisms I've always had for Sonny Edwards, and that's why I felt he'd come unstuck against Bam Rodriguez, because yeah, Sonny Edwards can box, he can move, but if you've actually watched his fights, he gets drawn into scraps a little bit. You know, Andre Campos was an example. Even Mohamed Wazim, he made that fight harder for himself than it needed it to be. Felix Alvarado the same. He'll have great stretches where he's boxing well, where he's keeping on the outside, and then he'll give up ground. He'll sit on the ropes, he'll try and sort of roll with shots and counter, but he gets outworked when he gives up his movement. He gets outworked. Yeah, he can still be elusive, but he's getting outworked when he sits on the ropes, when he sits in the pocket, and for me, he does that way too much. And in those moments, he is especially open to the body. He's quite good at being elusive with his head in the pocket and on the ropes, but he doesn't protect his body anywhere near as well. And again, Galal Yafai is a pretty good body puncher. So he needs to avoid that in this bout. He needs to avoid those moments where he becomes stationary, where he sits on the ropes, where he sits in the pocket, because he might come off second best here against the bigger, stronger man. But having said that, Galal Yafai has looked flat in some fights. I feel sometimes his approach is somewhat rudimentary. How he comes forwards and works away, kind of coming in straight lines, doesn't really change the pace up. He doesn't change up his rhythm. He doesn't really give you different looks or anything like that. It's kind of one-dimensional, his approach. Though so far it's been pretty successful. But yeah, this one's an interesting fight. I'm not sure how the boxing fans are receiving it and how they're seeing it, but I kind of see it as a 50-50. Edwards is a lot more experienced, he's fought better competition, he's more proven. And yeah, there's certain elements of his game that I think can really trouble Galal Yafai, but due to Edwards' deficiencies, that I mentioned earlier, I think that really gives Galal Yafai a great chance. I pretty much see it as a 50-50. Maybe closer to the time I'll make a prediction, but right now I can't really separate them. I'll need to go back and watch both guys fight, to be honest with you. I think Edwards can win, but I just worry he will play into Galal Yafai's hands by giving up ground, by giving up range, by sitting on the ropes, and against a big guy like Galal Yafai who works hard, who works the body hard, that could be his undoing. He might get overwhelmed. In fact, I'll be honest, I think when I think about this fight, I kind of favour Galal Yafai. I know I'm probably going to be in the minority on that one. I feel like a lot of people are going to be picking Edwards in this fight, but I think he might get overwhelmed. Not sure yet. Don't take it as an official prediction. That's just my current thoughts. But yeah, share your thoughts below. I actually really like this fight. It's an interesting bout. And I'm assuming the winner of this fight is going to be in line for a title shot. So yeah, good fight. Former world champion Sonny Edwards taking on Galal Yafai. Interesting. Goes down in Birmingham, by the way. That is Galal Yafai's home territory, so there is that to consider as well. But yeah, I think, gun to my head right now, I'd lean towards Galal Yafai. But again, I'm open to changing my mind, and nearer the time, I may do a prediction video. If I don't, just assume my pick is Galal Yafai. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.